Coming up next, the American spirit, the volunteers who went to Enterprise, Alabama to help absolute strangers. CBS News in Focus, responding to disaster. The federal government can do it. FEMA has some $3.4 billion tax dollars a year to spend. And since its disastrous performance after Hurricane Katrina, FEMA has promised to move faster. But sometimes the people who show up first after a disaster are volunteers. As national correspondent Byron Pitts reports, volunteers with the American spirit.
Thank you, kid.
Like so many tornado survivors, 64-year-old Marilyn Fisher of Lake Mack, Florida, is rebuilding her life one piece at a time.
I wish I had arms long enough to reach around all of you.
Marilyn's surrounded by volunteers from around the country, all part of a Christian nonprofit organization called ACTS, Active Community Team Services.
We have some great 18-year-olds.
David Canther, a preacher who left the pulpit, founded ACTS 3 years ago.
I love to rally business people, volunteers from all over, college students, high school students, to be on site after disaster happens within 24 hours, feeding people.
Canther calls this effort an army of everyone. Go teams bring food, water, supplies, and medical services straight into disaster zones. When Hurricane Katrina hit the Gulf Coast, ACTS hit the ground.
There are trees all over the main highways, and we're cutting our way in, man. We're determined.
You cut your way into Louisiana.
Cut our way in there. And so it was all through the night. It took us 5 hours to go 5 miles about.
5 hours turned into 9 months. In that time, ACTS distributed more than $23 million in donated goods and served nearly 500,000 hot meals.
This trailer here is designed to be in the field. It'll cook 200 pizzas an hour.
Oh my goodness. ACTS has never received a dime from the federal or any state government. Everything comes from private donations. The goal, feed both the body and the soul.
The sound stages will be used constantly for emotional therapy.
Emotional therapy.
Emotional therapy.
You do more than just feed people.
They need emotional healing. They have no theaters open, they have no power, they have no TVs, radios for weeks. They need more than that food and water to begin with.
Food and fellowship. There are 12,000 volunteers nationwide, including students from Christian colleges and high schools who are given time off from class when disasters strike.
How do I phrase this question in a sensitive way? Are you guys just weird? High school kids who want to sacrifice their time?
When I know I have the ability to help somebody in need, it makes me feel good to know that they've been helped, you know, and that I made a difference.
They've made a difference in Marilyn Fisher's life. A broken hand, fractured collarbone from the tornado that destroyed her home a month ago. Her husband's still in the hospital, and she's still waiting on FEMA.
They're slower than Moses.
Forgive me, but why are you even necessary? We pay taxes. We have organizations like FEMA.
There's a huge gap or a hole. Faith-based groups and others fill a tremendous need, and that is we mobilize quickly, we don't have to be paid. We love doing efficiently.
What do you say to these kids when they come out and they're sweeping up and picking up?
I hug them and I tell them thanks and I appreciate what they're doing. And I just about cry on their shoulder because they've been so good to us.
We love you, Marilyn.
Well, I love all of you.
It's hard not to. Byron Pitts, CBS News, Lake Mack, Florida.
And as we mentioned a bit earlier in the broadcast, the first volunteers to go to Enterprise, Alabama after the tornado last week were from that very group, ACTS.